Shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Shemal Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this is a video that the brother Rashai La Yasharala, Yahweh Shai, is coming back. 144K, that's his page that he put up, and it's called This Double-Speaking Fork-Tongued Shedomite Devil Wants Favor to Her Own in the Kingdom. And that's exactly what happens. You're talking about double talk, you know. And what's that? Let me grab Psalm 64 and 8. Because she both tells on herself and she lies. This is Psalm 64 and 8. So that they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right. And she's going to do exactly that. But then she's going to turn around and tell lies. This is Job 13 and 4. And it reads, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. And it's going to talk about the differences between the suffering of blacks and Jewish people, which is an oxymoron because the Jews were so-called black. You know, the evidence to prove that is higher than Mount Everest, and yet they just want to ignore the evidence, the elephant in the room when it comes to that matter. Just going to read one quick scripture to substantiate that. And, you know, how you get around these scriptures, I have no idea. And the relics, of course. I mean, you know, I show you the relics of the Israelites building the pyramids, and they didn't look like her. It wasn't her. The matter of fact, they were nowhere around this, you know. But this is Lamentations 4 and 8. Their visage is blacker than a coal. Now, this is talking about the visage, when you're looking at the faces and the images of the Jews of the southern kingdom. All right, it says their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. They're not known because they're called blacks. All right, they're called African Americans. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered and become like a stick. All right. So with that in mind, let's just let her speak.
The Holocaust, of course, was about race. Hitler thought Jews were, an inferior race, right?
Here, this is a fact. Hitler, in fact, himself was a Jew. All right, his birth name was Schipelgruber. All right, or something to the Schipelgruber, or something to that effect. Hitler is actually not his name. Okay, his mother was Jewish, and it's rumored that his father was actually one of the Rothschilds. And that's fact. His mother was Jewish. And according to them, if your mother's Jewish, then you're Jewish. So now we have an issue, and they don't like to talk about that fact or try to bury that history. But you can go and you can find that out pretty easily. But let's continue.
Historically, completely wrong. Of course, you can have bigotry against minorities who are not black. That also seemed to be precluded by what she was saying. So I'd say that was the second mistake. She seemed to be making that kind of, I'm sorry, forgive me, but like that woke, analysis where, oppression and skin color are correlated. And
anytime you bring up historical facts, proofs, or evidence, now it's being called woke. See, because, they've established fraudulent history, and the moment that you produce relics, or the moment that you produce writings and books and evidences from the time period that was said that go opposite or go more into detail of the subject matter, all of a sudden you're woke. All right. So basically, saying that someone is woke mean that you have a problem with the fact that they woke up. You want them to remain asleep.
And that is the definition of, oppression, victimization, and people who have lighter skin cannot be racially oppressed or ethnically oppressed, which is not true. And the third thing I would say is, Jews are not white. So, Jewishness is
You're right. Jews are not white. You're not white. There's no such thing as white people. That is the made up social construct. She's about to say, well, let's let her say it.
is not a race. Most Jews do not consider themselves to be a race because, as
You see that? Jews is not a race. Judaism is a religion. It is a religion. All right? People converted to it even during the Bible time. So so could you call those people that converted a race? John Hyrcanus force converted some people, and then I believe in the time of Esther there was a group of people who converted to following the ways of the Bible. But that's not a race. They just converted to following a way of life which is not their own. So where's the race coming in? What's the problem? Where's the argument? Where's the anti-anything? You see? So she just said that they're not a race, but yet they'll turn around and scream anti this and anti that.
I'm sure you guys agree race is a social construct. Jewishness is
She said, I'm sure you guys agree race is a social construct. No, that goes back to the Latin, the word rasa. It's talking about a family line. Race is not a matter of fact, let me see. I got the good old fashioned Winston Simplified Dictionary Encyclopedic edition. Let us look up race. Let me find it real quick. Because let me go back.
to be a race because, as I'm sure you guys agree, race is a social construct.
A
Jewishness
little bit
is
more. A little bit
difficult,
more.
not a race. Most Jews do not consider themselves to be a race. And the third thing I would say is, Jews are not white. So, Jewishness is not a race. Most Jews do not consider themselves to be a race because, as I'm sure you guys agree, race is a social construct.
Now, what there's also telling you, too, is that there's serious division among the nation of Edom. Because Jews do not care for Christians whatsoever, even though Christians try to uphold and uplift them. And that's all in the name of racism. Why they do so, though, because they don't want to acknowledge that if you say that these people aren't the people, then you're going to have to acknowledge that who really is. So their hatred in their toward Jacob will prevent them from doing that. But as you can see, the Jewish population really are not. They don't really care for Christians and Christianity. Just pick up their book. The Talmud speaks horribly about the Savior. It speaks horribly about who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. There's even a passage that I read with my own eyes that says something about Mary being a whore and just all kind of just madness. All right? So there's a serious division between Jewish people and white people, even though they may, act as if there isn't, but there is. All right, because if you start, getting them to speaking about their religions, you're gonna have some problems between the two of them. But this is looking for that word race because I'm curious. I'm gonna have to turn the light on. Let's see. It reads race, breed, lineage, source of descendants of a common ancestor, genealogical line or stock. All right, a family. So how is that not a race? All right, this is a Winston Simplified Dictionary Encyclopedic Edition, 1933. All right. So no, that's not. White is the social construct. There is no white race. That's the lie. Look up the studies of Theodore Allen of Dr. Jacqueline Battalora, Dr. Robin DiAngelo. White is made up. That is the made up social construct, not race. Race is it goes back to the word rasa, which basically means family, roughly. But let's let it continue.
Jewishness is difficult to define because Jews predate the modern categories we have for thinking about these things. So it's sort of The definition of Judaism sits uncomfortably at the intersection of an ethnicity and a history and a religion and a culture and a language and, a set of texts.
No, the Israelites is a race. Judaism is a religion. All right? And the Israelites followed the law, statutes, and commandments which were in the Bible. They didn't follow the Talmud. Jewish people today follow the Talmud. Isaiah 34 in 16, I believe. Matter of fact, instead of trying to, let's get it. Because I actually had a couple videos to go through, but I don't know if I'm going to make it to them. Just trying to break down all the things that she's saying wrong. And some of it, I don't even know. I don't even think she knows that she's saying wrong. She's just been, this is Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. So seek ye out of the book, not books. The only book that you to go to do the Lord's will and learn the ways of the Lord is the Holy Bible. Point blank, period. Which was made up of 3 books: the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. In completion, not just the Torah and the book of the prophets. Okay.
Right? It's a difficult thing to define, but most Jews would not call themselves white. They might call themselves white passing if they have white skin like me. I sometimes say that, but the reduction of Jews into white.
Her skin is red, pinkish red. Bad faith behind her is white. Bad news, the background, which everything is printed on, is white. She doesn't blend in with those. Her skin is not white. Okay? High definition TV has actually been the enemy to the so-called white man, because it shows you that he's not white. Just go click on anything with Glenn Beck on it.
Is something that many Jews find extremely offensive. Now, what I want to say, and now I want to get to the 2 things I think that she very clumsily perhaps was gesturing at, that I think are really important to bring up and difficult to bring up. So the first is, anti-Black racism is different, and it's worse in America. The history is worse.
There it is. It's way worse. And she goes on to say some other things, but I'm gonna leave it alone at there. It is way worse, because the Holocaust for the so-called Black people in America is ongoing. It has never stopped. 400 plus years of it, almost 500 years of it here in America. All right. For the Israelites, that is, both Northern and Southern Kingdom. What happened to the Jewish community was unfortunate. All right, I'll say that. It was unfortunate, but it only lasted a couple years. This thing has gone on for 4+ centuries. 4+ centuries. And they're mistreated, and there's definitely 2 different sets of laws. Matter of fact, let's go back to this video. This is Lisa Cabrera, and I want to get right to it.
Is not a racist country.
That is a lie.
America
this bald-faced coon right here.
Not a racist country.
An investigation is underway tonight into a brawl at a mall between 2 teenagers in New Jersey.
The focus is not on the fight itself, but rather how the officers handled it. And tonight, some are questioning whether the teens were treated differently by race. CBS 2's Corey James reports from Bridgewater.
This fight inside Bridgewater Commons Mall in New Jersey is sparking a firestorm of emotions. 2 teens seen throwing punches at each other appear to get 2 different responses from the officers who showed up. The other teenager seen sitting on a sofa while the Black 8th grader had 2 officers kneel on his back to handcuff him.
So let's pause that. All right, I'm going to use my pen as a pointer. This kid is sitting on the couch. All the other children are recording. You can, when you hear the audio and the video, you can even hear the other white kid saying, wow, they're going straight for the black guy. So the white kid, and it turns out the so-called white kid that's sitting on the couch with his face blotted out because he's still a minor according to Esau. Actually, he's an adult. Both of them are over 12, so they're actually adults biblically. All right, they're young adults, immature adults, but they're both adults. But he got preferable treatment. No handcuffs, no nothing. The black kid was attacked, assaulted, and pinned to the ground with knees in his back of two adults. All right? And it turns out that he was defending himself. He was defending a seventh grader from this high school Edomite, this high schooler. And the high schooler actually started it, according to all the witnesses.
I was confused, why they saw me as a bad person, me as a aggressive.
14-year-old Kai, who asked that we not use his last name but wanted to share his story, says the fight broke out after he stood up for a friend who was getting picked on by the other teen. He says seeing video of the officers on top of him for nearly 30 seconds is scary and frustrating.
If they don't know how to treat the situation and deal with the situation equally and fairly, then they shouldn't be able to deal with the situation at all.
This is Psalms 73 and 4. Point is in 5. For there are no bands in their strength, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. This is their kingdom. There's definitely two sets of justices here in America. And also blame his mom here, because I'm like, where's his father at? All right. And we know she already got rid of him, and more likely than not. All right. But she hasn't taught him who his enemy is. That's the problem here. This young man does not know that he is behind enemy lines, in enemy territory, and among enemies. He doesn't. And that makes him extra vulnerable to the devil, to the deceivers.
Kai's mom, Ebene, agrees.
Maybe they could have broken up the fight and maybe set them aside and call their parents. No cuffs, no aggression. Dealt with them like they were teenagers.
In a statement, the Bridgewater Police Department said in part, quote, "We recognize that this video has made members of our community upset and are calling for an internal affairs investigation. The officers were..."
So that's what they always do. They always call the devil to investigate the devil. So, hey, deceiver, come over here and check out what these other deceivers, just remember those deceivers are with us. But you go ahead and check out and see what they're doing. That shit is crazy. It's ludicrous.
Were able to respond quickly to this incident and stop it from escalating because of a tip we received from the community, end quote. Meantime, this mother and son say they are grateful for the support, and they hope when it comes to the officers, more will be done.
For them to be fired.
I'm not happy about it, and I do want those two cops to become unemployable. That's what I would like.
And Kai has been banned from this mall for 3 years. His mom says right now they are choosing not to say whether they feel this incident.
I'm trying to find a video. Salakia, I just watched a video where they showed you a Russian ice skater. Here it is. I think I found it. Instead of trying to just put it on my phone, I'll let you hear it. It will still have the same effect. But let's just take this imagery back to these cops having their knee on this young man's back while the other man is sitting on the couch. All right? Yeah, and they got his face blurred out right there. He's sitting on the couch while they're tackling this kid and putting cuffs on him. And this kid is sitting there free to do whatever he pleases. If this isn't clear and apparent racial discrimination and hate being displayed, I don't know what is. All right? But here we go.
Going for Olympic glory. Both testing positive for...
Let me take this back.
Testing positive for prohibited...
Hold on. Just wanted to turn the sound up so you can hear it. All right.
2 athletes going for Olympic glory, both testing positive for prohibited substances. One was denied a chance at Olympic gold. The other was able to return. But why? We're talking about the individual cases of U.S. track star Sha'Carri Richardson and 15-year-old Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva. The story goes like this. Richardson was barred from competing at the Tokyo Olympic Summer Games after testing positive for THC after using cannabis. Richardson says she had used cannabis as a way to deal with the recent death of her mother. In December 2021, Valieva tested positive for trimethoprim cimetazidine, a heart drug which works by increasing blood flow to the heart and limiting rapid swings in blood pressure, according to Reuters. It's categorized by the World Anti-Doping Agency as a hormone and metabolic modulator, the use of which is illegal for athletes both in and out of competition. On top of that, a new report by the New York Times says that Valyeva had 2 other heart medications in her system that aren't banned. But wait for it. The Times goes on to quote Travis Tiger, the chief executive of the United States Anti-Doping Agency, saying the benefits of having a medication combination like that could, quote, be aimed at increasing endurance, reducing fatigue, and promoting greater efficiency in using oxygen.
Wow.
Russian anti-doping officials maintain they only learned about Valyeva's positive test result last week. So the question comes down to this. Why can an athlete who used cannabis as a way to cope after her mother's death be banned, while another athlete who is found to have substances in her system believed to increase performance can keep competing? Richard
See, that's just, you see what I mean? So Jake, you know, and you know, and I really despise that weed shit, and you know, and that's a, you know, there's, but nevertheless, she used weed, and she was and she was banned from competing, ruined the girl's future, even though there really is no future in this world, in America, anywhere. But the Edomite girl was able to compete, and the head of the anti-doping agency even said that the combination of the drugs that she was using increases endurance and muscular endurance, physical endurance, and cardiovascular endurance, which gives a person an unfair edge. So she was cheating. Not only was she competing, she was cheating against all the people she was competing against. But yet, she was allowed to return to competition. It's just to show you. Well, let's grab another scripture. This is Psalm 73, and 8, and it says, "And they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily." All right, they set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. All right, because you're under their vibration, and they just can do no wrong. All right, but I'm gonna conclude this this video with let me see if I can go back to her.
So I wonder, Batia, if you have interrogated that question at all.
To black friends when you're wrong. So
back to Batia's face. Hold on, let's put it on her. Mrs. What she say? Jews are not white. She said it. And that the suffering of blacks is worse in America. And but this is information that I got off of a video that I'm about to read. And the girl that put the video up was clearly not used to doing so, because, you know, she had to put up subtitles because the music was too loud. You could only hear half of what she was saying. But this was in honor of Black History Month. I'm going to tell you 10 punishments that were worse than being whipped. All right, and this was on this was a TikTok video. Phoebe Kundu, attractive young, pretty brown young sister. She's not black, she's brown. All right, but because there's no such thing as black people or white people, just like, you know, she was talking about. There's no such thing as race. No, black and white are the social constructs made up, not race. But number one was being raped. They did this before all to men too, and we've, you know, the stories of buck breaking, which is pretty disgusting. Number two, being boiled alive in sugar. They will boil the sugar and then boil you in it. All right, why they chose sugar, I don't know. It says being buried with your head above soil. Then they pour syrup on you, on your head, and the ants would eat the skin off your face. I'm sure they would go all in your nose and in your ears, and that's probably a pretty painful death. Number four, being sent to breeding farms, which is exactly what it sounds like. So basically, you know, a young girl got sent to a breeding farm with a bunch of gigantic rod jakes and just got, you know, screwed by everybody until she was pregnant. You know, I don't know how long they were there, if it was an all-day process, a couple days or whatever. But that's pretty much what happened, because they were trying to breed big, strong bucks and, you know, and healthy, thick butt, big-breasted women. All right. Remember the whole bag over the head. That's where the term motherfucker comes from, because sometimes they would bring send a mother in to be banged by her own adult son, you know, or by one of her teenage sons, you know, if he was like big and muscular, because they wanted to make more like that. Number 5, being sent to a rape party where you were forced to rape black women. If you didn't, you were raped yourself. You know, because Esau is really, well, you can just look at Caligula. That type of behavior goes back to Rome. All right. It says having your teeth ripped out of your head for their fillings because they lost their teeth. Having a contraption pushed up your a-hole just for pain. They leave it in for hours or days. That was number 7. Edomites would play a game of kick the black baby's head, where they buried a baby up to its neck and kicked his head until it came off. And then they made clothes and purses out of skin, like they did Nat Turner's. That's what they did to his dead body. It says, and being half hanged and burnt was number 10. So the Holocaust for Jacob has never ended. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Awashai Bashim Rakakwadash Wa Abba Babal Kwam Yasarala Shalom.